Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Totally Not Mark. We're continuing with his One Piece reviews. We are on Sabaody Archipelago, or however you can call it. I've been calling it Sabaody Archipelago for a while now. And this arc is incredible, and I think this is like the next three, this and the two afterwards. Well, three afterwards, Amazon Lily as well. This is where the story just goes, whoa, from here. So much happens in this. The way that this arc ends is just so goddamn emotional. You get some really interesting name drops, and you meet some really interesting characters that you know are going to have some importance later on in the story, and a few like moral points are touched upon on this, but let's see what Totally Not Mark has to say.
Okay, yeah, this arc was the best. Like, it's absolutely incredible.
Say the line, Mark.
Tragic arc thus far.
Oh my god.
Some of the most intense subject matters.
Yeah, you go. Yeah.
Focusing on an aspect of the story that has been at the forefront of it since the very beginning. Its characters.
Yeah. I love the Straw Hat Crew.
Building up to the most tragic crescendo, the likes of which affected me on such a profound level.
I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Away from my desk and stare out a window for a few minutes.
Yeah.
This arc made me laugh. It made me lean in, and it made me.
Oh, mate, that was hilarious with the bounty poster.
Part of One Piece has that I've read through. And so,
He knew something was going on with that, though, didn't he?
I'm Totally Not Mark, and these are my first impressions on, thoughts on, and review for
Oh,
a
cool.
crazy little story that was so much fun and felt so much bigger than I thought it would. This is the beautiful,
Some interesting devil fruit powers as well.
and bubbly Sabaody Archipelago.
Oh, okay. Oof.
Alright, this arc was so good, I searched the dictionary for the most positive word in it I could find to describe how good I thought it was. The word I found was ineffable.
Ineffable?
Which means too great or extremely.
Wow, that's a hell of a word. I like that.
Words, which it was. This arc was bloody ineffable in every sense.
Bloody ineffable.
I am first and foremost a massive fan of tragedy in storytelling, and boy,
Was it tragic?
This one got me.
Yeah.
It got me good.
Ugh.
Tugging at my heartstrings more than any story I
But before
ever
that...
read, watched or listened to. Heck, this made me cry more than some of the funerals I've been to in my life. And so...
Mate, wait till you get to Marineford.
I'll tackle everything you all want me to, so yeah, let's begin.
Okay. The bounty poster.
Duvall gave me a
Amazing.
great laugh and proved to be a fantastic way of introducing...
It was funny because I was like, who is this person in the armour? And then it was just a comic, it was like a comedic gag. I was like, that's brilliant.
Second time, only this time on the other side of the world. I love that sense of progression. It becomes abundantly clear that they need to cross specifically underwater. And that is when we meet this girl, Kami,
Yay.
who is saved from a sea monster. And she is specifically very important to the story in more ways than one, but none perhaps more important than the fact that she links us back with Hachi, the fishman from Arlong Park. If you
My
remember,
God!
Oda took
And he's a good guy now.
in exploring during the cover
Yeah,
chapters.
he's been doing stuff on the covers, yeah.
Which all these cover chapters seem to carry so much importance and add so much to the
They lead to
overall
something like,
narrative.
I want to know what the
Essentially,
guy
Kami
from Sky
reminds
P is
of
doing
the
on the
guys
moon,
involved
man.
to save her friend Hachi from this sinister-looking, helmet-wearing, monstrous entity
Very
known as
cool
Duvall.
looking.
Once the
And then it was
Straw
just
Hat
funny.
eventually arrived to free Hachi from them, the atmosphere surrounding his unmasking was built up by Oda so perfectly.
It looks so good in the manga.
Menacing. To
Yeah.
be perfectly honest, during this section, I was full on expecting it to be someone like Don Krieg because of the armor. But
Yeah, I wanted it to be someone like cool and villainous.
so much better than I thought. I'm so glad that this wasn't paid off in any sort of serious way.
Yeah.
And I love it all the more for it. It plays on an established joke regarding Sanji's wanted poster, with that
yeah.
specifically
Oh.
acting as the inspiration for the altercation in the first place. Climaxing with Luffy, Sanji, and the rest of the crew totally winning the scrap, rearranging Duvall's
Face
into
to make him
surprisingly
handsome.
a far more handsome one, all the while earning Hachi's freedom. All in all, this small self-contained little mini arc was a really nice story that
Yeah,
served to introduce
it was
us to
boss
Kami,
and a nice
to
little
reintroduce us to Hachi, to establish his motivations
into
Sabaody,
Sabaody.
and to provide us with a means of crossing the red
Yeah,
line.
to actually get there,
So
yeah.
in order to help Hachi regain some semblance of conscience, he will bring them to
And I like that the
Sabaody Archipelago, wherein he
paint
will coat their
on his
ships
head and that,
that
like,
allows them to sail
actually
underwater
has some sort of
Fishman
meaning.
Island and under the red line into the new world.
Ooh, he's a
While this
babe
seems
magnet now,
insane,
or so he thinks.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
Huh.
World building. Sabaody Archipelago. The world building in this arc works pretty much the exact same way as all the other arcs in One Piece. Absolutely brilliantly. A lot of people will disregard arcs like Thriller Bark and label them as something as simple as bad or poorly written because it's sandwiched between arcs like Enies Lobby and
God.
this.
Yeah.
While those arcs are phenomenal,
Absolutely.
I want to make it known that they work as well as they do because they were built up to by these smaller, lesser arcs. You can't have an Alabasta arc without Reverse Mountain, Little Garden, and
Yeah, like everything builds up into everything in One Piece, yeah.
You can't really have any climactic worth anything without prior build-up. In other words, you need calm moments in order to appreciate the action, and you need...
Yeah, it throws me whenever I start a new arc and I'm like, oh right, we're building up this new place now.
Don't worry, I will get to
And then a couple of chapters later it's like, oh okay, cool.
Oda Drop feeds us little pieces of information regarding its world via maps, modes of transportation, how its economy works, and, of course, its culture. But this archipelago, more so than any other place in the One Piece world
Wow,
so
that was
far,
cool.
has some of the darkest themes explored.
Definitely,
like
this is
selling
so
of
messed
humans,
up.
executions, and slavery, among other such
Yeah.
activities. It's pretty surreal, and while I was reading it, I was really taken aback and pleased with the subject matter chosen to be explored here in order to bring this world to life. More so because of a certain promise Luffy made to Hachi.
Yeah, he said just don't do anything, even if someone's getting killed, do not jump in.
And it just so happens that certain group is...
This is so messed up.
Worst. These nobles, referred to as celestial dragons,
Celestial dragons,
by
that's
the
what I mean,
regular
yeah.
people and themselves, are some of the most insufferable, deplorable,
Hate them. I can't stand them when they're on page, man. On screen. Like, it's the first time I've seen them on screen, but yeah.
Let alone One Piece. It's sort of like Oda said to himself, okay, let's think of the worst possible human traits and combine
Just
them
put
into
them
one character.
there,
Only
yeah.
he didn't do that, and he made a bunch of characters.
Just
that
all of them are just scum,
and
yeah.
they work so amazingly well to the catalyst of the horrific events that eventually unfold in the story thereafter. These people are revealed to be from a noble lineage. 800 years ago, 20 kings banded together to create the world government, and these celestial dragons are their descendants, unveiled in their opening scene, executing a former pirate for trying to run away from them.
Yeah.
Trying to run away from slavery, essentially. However, this primarily
They can just do whatever they want,
serves the
and
purpose of
no one's
informing
meant
us
to
of how
touch
a
them.
certain system of human trafficking within the archipelago works and how slaves are made wear these collars that, if their owners
They can
so
explode.
chooses,
Jesus.
At a later time in this arc, there's this just great scene with Zoro. So this
I love the ongoing joke where Zoro just gets lost everywhere.
demanding medical personnel to stop helping the wounded and to instead bow
So
before the
horrible, man.
passes. He then, in a classy fashion, demands one of the nurses to be his
Wife.
13th wife before subsequently banishing wives 1 through 5 because he's, quote,
Bored.
tired of them.
Yeah,
And
so that's
shoots
it.
her fiance in front of her. And this is when I saw Zoro.
Ho 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 ho!
Once again, Oda using dramatic irony wherein we the readers know more than Zoro does in this particular
Yes.
situation, which, honestly, I adore because it creates
It's great.
anticipation and
It's a lot of tension, yeah.
We know that this celestial dragon guy has
It's like, oh, if Zoro does
no idea
anything, he's so
how
screwed.
powerful Zoro is, and we also know that Zoro has no idea how important it is not to cause waves around
Don't
these
do
particular
anything,
tyrants.
Zoro.
So, needless to say, immediately and without warning, the tension in the scene shoots up from a 5 to a 10 as the celestial dragon
Yeah.
shoots at Zoro, and with ease, Zoro dodges. But out of nowhere, one of the big bounties in the area pulls him to the
Yep.
side and plays off the encounter as if Zoro is dead to get them off his
Fake
trail.
blood.
She sort of reprimands him for his behavior and reminds him
You're gonna
of
get
his
all us
right
pirates in
to
trouble
do.
again.
Zoro sort of ignores this
Poopy
and leaves
face.
his fiancé to get medical attention. In this scene, it's great to see that Zoro is a really good person, despite not necessarily touting himself as one. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
great
he doesn't act
character
like it.
moment,
Doesn't
and
say.
what's
Well, he
more
doesn't
is
say
once
that he is,
again,
does he?
It gets over that these celestial dragon characters are the scum of the earth and don't deserve the
Go
air
out,
we
go
all
out,
breathe,
go
and
out.
certainly not the elitist bubbled air they breathe. They are certainly not powerful. And actually, speaking of powerful,
It is just
that
stasis. Status.
Archipelago, the Straw Hats are currently searching around looking for this
Ah!
guy to coat their ship with this
So
awesome
bad.
substance. Also is a popular spot for those that made their journey across the Grand Line their own way before they move on to the New World. And as it happens, all of
New
the other young
characters.
pirates that made a name for themselves across the Grand Line through various different sailing routes are all on the Archipelago too
Yeah.
at the same time.
They're all so
Including Luffy and
cool.
Zoro, there are 11 people in total having
Big bounties.
higher than 100 million berries on the archipelago, and with one in particular having a higher bounty than even Luffy,
Oof.
which makes things all sorts of interesting. And within
Now, is that
the entire
Law? His name's
chapter,
Law,
Oda
isn't
takes
it?
the time to introduce each of these
And what was the name for these guys? You get
So I guess these will be mainstays in the series moving forward? Question mark.
Does seem like, well, I've seen Funko Pops of Law, so I think there's definitely something going on with him.
And the boisterous enthusiasm Luffy tackles every subsequent situation with serve to paint
The starfish reminded me of the octopus from Hunter x Hunter a little bit.
Already to operate within, but that is ignoring the single most important aspect of what made the story so tense and phenomenal for me. They are right next to the World Naval HQ.
Yeah.
So if anything arises that needs
They are just there. What happens?
on Luffy and his friends. So with all of these pieces in play, the story takes a turn into something interesting and awful. Starting with Kami the Mermaid.
No.
I haven't touched on
Because she's
this
worth a
yet,
lot.
but a key aspect that added a ton of tension in this arc for me was the underlying secrecy Hachi and Kami were forced to operate under. Apparently, their kind isn't welcome in the
No,
archipelago,
not at
and
all.
moreover,
Yeah, the fish,
mermaids,
especially. Yeah.
notoriously difficult to catch as well as being incredibly rare, are one of the most sought-after specimens during these human
They're risking a lot being there.
auctions, which, on its own, is incredibly disgusting and cruel. Needless to say, however, the crew all split up, even going as far as to use the help of their new allies in the Flying Fish.
He's cool. He helps them out, man. He's class.
Discover that Kami is being
As much as an idiot he is, he's
in the
class.
Archipelago labeled #1, and there we get to see the fiscal struggle for Kami's freedom or enslavement happen right before our eyes. And in traditional One Piece fashion, the most interesting part of it is revealed to be something we didn't even see coming through a character we learn is called Rayleigh. Him later. Nami, now armed with 200
It's like, okay, who is this guy? And then as soon as you find out, he's like, oh, it's a big deal.
From their adventures,
Doesn't one of the pirates bite his tongue on stage so he doesn't get sold? To kill himself.
Before she even has a chance to place a bid, guess who comes through with an absurdly high bidding to outbid literally everyone?
Boom. Well, never mind.
Yeah, I know. And what's more, during this scene we also get to see Law and Kid,
Yes, it is Law,
two
cool.
guys we were introduced to as part of the 11 bounties higher than 100 million present on the archipelago, with Kid being the one that has the highest bounty. Both of these characters
He's the one that controls metal, doesn't he? Does he?
The occasion in terms of personality, but they also sport some of the best sleek character designs I've seen come out of the series in a
They do
long,
look cool.
long time.
They stand out.
I'm guessing they play a big role later, judging by their character designs. And I guess by later, I mean right now. As
Oh.
we see is what this celestial dragon does at the auction without delay.
He
and
just-
in perfect Luffy fashion, delivers one of the most satisfying punches I've ever in my life.
Let's... Replaced. Nice.
I don't think I've ever wanted a
That's
character
brilliant.
to be punched more than I wanted Luffy to punch this bratty
Yeah, but it's what happens afterwards. It's like, oh no!
And in this moment, I realized how unbelievably thankful I was for how the Navy is represented in this story, because it's utterly brilliant for pacing. We all knew that when Luffy was told not to react to these celestial folk,
He's going to.
eventually would
Yeah,
inevitably
we knew it. Yeah.
react and start causing a big
Yeah.
deal. Specifically because we have it at the back of our heads that we gotta remain composed and out of trouble to avoid the Navy. And
Yeah.
funnily enough, thinking back to my thoughts at the beginning of this series, I was so scared that the Navy was going to be a Team Rocket type organization, because towards the start of the
It did
story,
seem like it at the
they
beginning, didn't it?
really
Yeah.
show their hand and what they were capable of. And the very fact that the Navy is a massively imposing force in these oceans,
They are
One Piece shows the
dangerous.
story on so
You get the
many
admirals
levels.
in. It is the admirals in it.
Great,
Yeah.
wonderful tension. This is where Oda starts to drive
Like,
the story
whoa.
a little more dangerously, flirting with tension even more and driving the story in a way that makes me go, "Hey, Oda, you okay, buddy?" So this pulls off with these three heartthrobs of One Piece is cool and all, and we get a really cool action sequence where
Yeah.
all of them work together. I also get the distinct feeling that as the series goes on, the significance of this moment will feel all the better as I reread
I hope so.
or watch it
I've
when
still not
it's
got
finished.
up to anything
But
like that yet.
perhaps the best sign that Luffy is growing as a captain comes from this scene too, where he opts to think of his friends first and run away to regroup for safety. After all, this isn't something that needs to be dealt with. They have Kami, they have everyone.
They got everything they need.
Now
Get
is
out.
lay low and avoid everything, which is a nice piece of character growth and subtle foreshadowing for what's to come. But anyway, they eventually find this guy who will coat their ship, and man, this guy is a wild ride.
Love it.
Rayleigh. This
Big
guy
deal.
is Goldie Roger's first mate.
Yeah.
Holy
Whoa.
Jesus on a bicycle. I was not prepared for him to say that,
No.
like, at all.
Oh.
And what's more
As soon
is
as anything like that drops, it's like, ah!
theories ago, I made a prediction that there was no way Roger was captured without giving himself up or something to that effect.
Yeah.
He was just too powerful. And wouldn't you know it, I nailed it. Apparently he got really, really sick, disbanded his group, and ultimately surrendered. Which, on its own, I'm sort of curious about, but I'm going to wait and see how this arc itself plays out before I start speculating. When I read this, I literally stood up from my chair and held my hands high, triumphantly. Remember, kids, if you want to predict something correctly, all you gotta do is throw thousands of speculations at the wall, and eventually, one will be gold in the sea of inconclusive and time travel speculation, which I'm partly embarrassed about. During this section, there's an incredibly interesting conversation that takes place. Shanks is even brought up in conversation, and Luffy is told that he once worked for Goldie Roger as his apprentice, which honestly was really fun to read through, as we don't really get many chances for Luffy to actually talk or mention Shanks. What's more is that I often make
Shanks
note of these
doesn't show up at all until Marineford.
always been there, regardless of whether or not he's
crazy.
Volume is Shanks. He's always there, and I think that's fitting, as he is still sort of a driving, influential force in Luffy's life, which on its own is a wonderful touch, I think. And finally, in this scene, there are two character interactions I really enjoyed. Firstly, as Rayleigh explains how Roger read the poneglyphs, Robin begins getting sucked more and more into this conversation. But when she learns how important it is for her to discover this on her own, she immediately stops probing for information, which is a nice little character moment.
I did like that. It's like, now I want to find out myself. Luffy, don't want to know. Don't want to know. Yeah, I thought this was great. Boss.
When Usopp asks this guy,
And it's just straight away, don't want to know.
the One Piece might be or where he thinks it is, Luffy demanded not to know what he knows about the location of the One Piece treasure, which on its own is a really metal thing to say, but also perfectly in line and full of character for someone like Luffy to say.
Yeah, he wants to find out himself.
If you were to stumble in and you watching this episode, or to pick up the manga at this particular chapter without any context, they would still get a fantastic idea of
who he is.
Really
Yeah,
is
brilliant. Yeah, agree with that.
But moreover, during this arc, a few things caught my attention as worth keeping in mind to think about. It's let known to us that Ace is up for execution, which, I mean, if that happened, would mean all-out war with Whitebeard and his forces. I guess this is perhaps what Shanks was trying to prevent when he met with Whitebeard earlier. And I think
he was telling him to just, like, tell Ace not to go after Blackbeard, wasn't he?
The notion that no one is truly safe in this world. When we first saw Ace, he was this calm, collected, fun-loving, incredibly impressive,
seemed awesome.
and supremely powerful person. One that quite literally outshines Luffy in every way by his own admission, even as a child when he himself
wasn't it mentioned at some point that he could have been one of the 7 warlords as well?
When I read this, I thought, man, I wonder what Luffy has in store for him if something like that can happen to Ace. And boy, was I not ready for what was to come next. And this is where Oda turns off cruise control and starts veering into oncoming traffic before continuing to drive erratically while I lose my ever-loving mind. Once this intense and interesting scene where Raleigh describes some info about Roger's past, the gang decides to lay low for 3 days while he works on coding their ship when... out of nowhere, standing before all 9 of the Straw Hats together, stands the single most formidable foe the gang has ever encountered, Kuma. And this
Or at least they think it is.
Carefree to ludicrously intense in the blink of an eye. Showing no signs of slowing down or mercy, Kuma begins unloading massive attack after massive attack on each of the Straw Hats without reservation, requiring every single one of them to employ their own brand of heroism, strategy, and tenacity to create the perfect storm of offense to take out this once thought to be invincible foe. And trust me, this is not an easy effort.
Nope.
This takes
they are absolutely out of it when they take him down, aren't they?
Utilizing all of their best techniques, all of their power in one short burst of combined, coordinated assault. This scene, more than any other, demonstrates the crew at their absolute best.
Pinnacle, like just boom, and then it's just like, oh no, never mind. God.
A massive threat. I do not want to undersell how immense this particular occasion feels. However, once this giant enemy does hit the floor, it becomes immediately apparent that everyone is spent. They have no
they're
energy
done.
left, and that's when...
Oh no. Oh no.
Things had now gone from a bad situation to a dire one, as we now know that the only option the crew have is to
Run away. Yeah.
which, as it turns out, isn't a good one.
That's not an option. Boom.
All
Gone.
this time, Luffy has been screaming the order for them to try and escape, and as his friends get taken away from him, one after the other, he starts taking more and more desperate attempts to save them.
Yeah, and it just
As
to
the
no
last one
avail.
vanishes right from before his eyes, he falls to his knees weeping. This tiny section of this small scene got me more than any other chapter or scene in the entire series.
It's something else. It's just like
Watching
constantly,
this
no,
character who is
no,
described quite literally
no.
in front of every volume as someone with boundless optimism, to see this poor character crushed by loss and circumstance before being erased too, broke me in a way I wasn't even remotely prepared for.
Not ready at all.
This arc forces you to cope and accept the situation's worsening atmosphere in a natural but uncomfortably fast way that places you, or at least tries to place you, in the same frantic, desperate feeling the character feels. And this is achieved not just in the escalating action and violence, but in the literal plot being erased from right before our eyes. Every single character in this Straw Hat crew has had their own individual story in this series. Zoro and Luffy in Romance Dawn, Nami in Orange Town, Usopp in Syrup Village, Sanji in Barate, Chopper in Drum Island, Robin in Alabasta, Frankie in Water 7, and Brooke in Thriller Bark. Remove
True,
these
everyone's
characters
happy, yeah.
and it quite literally sucks the character and purpose out of this world. We've known these characters for the exact same amount of time as Luffy. We have the same connection to them as he does.
Yeah.
Which puts us in
Okay,
a
yeah.
position wherein we as readers can judge Luffy's orders. And
We
really
exactly
determine
know
what they
how he's
mean to
feeling.
him
Yeah, I
and
guess, yeah.
us. I care about all of them, and the truly terrifying aspect and part of this entire scene was, I don't think I would have made a single different decision than what Luffy did. Which just reinforces this sense of desperation we
It
feel
did
as
seem
we
very
so
desperate, man. It was just like, come
Robin
on, no.
before Luffy's eyes. And so, like Luffy, my heart sank and I felt a severe pit in the middle of my stomach, like I had just received real-life bad news. No other story ever in my life invoked such a real, raw, guttural response from me, and I ugly cried on this
Ugly
page.
cried.
Like, I stayed on this page for probably 10 minutes before turning to finish the chapter. And even as I write this, my heart is still racing with my hands slightly shaking. This scene affected me in such a profoundly different way than I was ever expecting it to. So much so, I had to start writing my thoughts right away. This part here that you're hearing me speak right now, this is the part of the script I've actually written down first. I have so
Nice.
many thoughts, I don't even know how to process them. For obvious reasons, I know that this most definitely can't be the end of Luffy's journey with the rest of them, and that this Kuma ability surely just teleports them elsewhere or something to that.
Yeah, but you don't know at the time.
That doesn't matter because for me, the implication is one and the same in this scene. Luffy's single greatest fear has been realized.
Yeah, he's losing everyone.
He wasn't able to save any of them from the dangers of the Grand Line. All of them had to go away. And he was powerless to do anything about it. Thematically, narratively, and even emotionally, this hit perfectly, encompassing literally the central through line of the entire series. The ragtag camaraderie that comes with the friends we've met along the way. And what's interesting about this scene also is that it comes right after Luffy demanded not to know more than he needed to know about Goldie Roger and his past
And the One
regarding
Piece,
the One Piece treasure, because he wants it to stay fun. Luffy doesn't want power. He doesn't want
He wants
to
the
rule
adventure.
over anyone.
Yeah.
He doesn't even really want the treasure beyond saying that he himself found it. The journey that he's on to that ultimate dream of his is the reward. That's Luffy's treasure.
That's
His
the One
friends.
Piece.
The journey, the
It was
adventure,
the friends and
excitement, that's what he's
journey
there
along
for.
the way.
And right before his eyes, right before our eyes, without having any power to manipulate or control the dire situation, one after another, the loyal, loving, brave souls that pledged their lives to Luffy throughout this series and all together just one arc prior, they were all taken away from him as he was forced to watch it all unfold. Luffy was forced to watch himself once again become alone and lose all of his friends. What an absurdly effective scene and what a beautifully constructed arc.
Yeah,
and that's what
it's something else.
This was a gorgeous arc in how elegant and light it was, while being able to deliver such an intensely passionate gut punch that hit its mark right in my stomach.
In the
What
stomach.
this arc does better than any of the others, in my opinion, is naturally escalate tension more efficiently in a shorter span of time than pretty much any of the other arcs.
Yeah, it's not that long, is it? It's not as long as some of the others.
Nerve-wracking struggles I've seen from this series.
But it didn't need to be literally perfectly just
I'm using the word
sandwiched everything
struggle
in.
In this instance with great purpose and utility. This wasn't a fight, this was a statement, and Luffy, I think, received that message
Loud and clear. Yep.
Like, to put this into perspective, right? This arc was so intensely good and affected me on such a cellular level that I, for the first time ever,
Went straight to Twitter before I did Arc, yeah. That's brilliant.
Heck, before I even finished the script, I tweeted that out.
Sabaody
My God,
Archipelago.
holy hell, this arc was stupidly good. Introducing new characters that reveal so much about the past, a confirmation on a hunch I had from videos ago.
Ooh, reward yourself.
In over to the Navy because he would have been too powerful. Receiving breadcrumbs of information about the world's government that forced me to put my thinking cap on more than I was comfortable with in this video. But easily at the forefront of my brain, I have the characters and friends that I've become deeply attached to over the last 2.5 months and 500 chapters. They are after vanishing, and I don't know where to. But all I do know is that I will be covering it
That was in
next
Lily.
week. And when I do, I hope you'll be there to join me. As always, I've been Totally Not Mark. I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching.
Ooh. Impel Down is so good. And Marineford is incredible. I can't wait to watch his reviews on them. Amazon Lily I do enjoy. It's quite fun. And everyone's got a little... Do they also show where everyone is at that point? I think everyone gets their own little thing. But yeah, that was cool. He is not wrong. Sabaody Archipelago, however how do you pronounce it, is amazing. It's really good. And I like the using of past characters and the random gags and new characters and the world. Everything just seems to fit in One Piece. Nothing is just forced. It's amazing. So anyway, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video, link is in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask to help support the channel. I greatly appreciate that. And thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys, next time. Bye.